Yeah, all these people were losing their mind over these Biggie Tupac investigation shows. And I keep telling you all this stuff was coming out like the floodgates once that movie hit. Because Mrs. Wallace, not Mrs. Wallace, but Mr. Finney was not around to stop a lot of this stuff from happening. They wanted to do this exploitation years ago. And when it was hitting the 20th year anniversary, they really wanted to do it. And she was not going to allow them to exploit her son. So now that she's not around anymore, it was like open season for the exploitation to take place. So a lot of people were throwing their wrenches in, including his father, who was trying to, who wasn't there for none of Tupac's like success to help him ever in this situation when they were starving and didn't have any money for Christmas and all this. And the mom was with Matula, you know, she wasn't with his biological father. So the biological father trying to come in and get some money, in the end of all of this, that's just tacky, in my opinion. But many people talk about surprises. Like what was like some of the surprises you noticed, or what are some of the things that transpired that made you think twice, or you said, it's kind of fishy? There were a lot of different things that happened because in a murder or somebody death happens so sudden. A lot of things are moving around and people are trying to figure things out. There's an investigation. So everybody's life moves differently. So whatever agenda or thing that you had going on in your life, y'all might be in a group, like say the record company, but the record company's job isn't to try to do an investigation and find out what happened in a murder. And then people were going on with the sensationalism of, Suge's a bad guy. He was the target and Tupac was the victim. Then it was like they wanted to get both of them. Then it became Suge set it up and he was in the car when it happened and all of this craziness, and it's hard to swallow all of this at once. People get so caught into the sensationalism of it. So there was a lot to the Russell Poole investigation, and he's trying to implement. It was Suge, and everybody for years was saying it's Suge, it's Suge. Suge did it, and he knew it. He had professional hitmen who knew how to shoot in a car, and people were creating their own fantasy stories based off theory and reputation. But that didn't do it for me. Excuse me for a minute while I grab me a water here. Now, sorry, I needed a water to clear my throat. Now, a lot of things that they said were like fishy. Like they wanted a quick autopsy and how quickly they were able to move Tupac out. Now, when there's a celebrity case involved, a lot of people didn't know this. But when there's a celebrity case and they have a lot of people surrounding the hospital, just so they can, prevent any more, because there's other people in the hospital that are in ICU, that are dying, that are ill. So they want to navigate through this as quickly as possible. Okay, they want to get through this process. So they decided to sneak him out another way and get the body out of there. And while people were waiting by the coroner's office when they heard that he passed, like news and everybody else, his body was already gone and already at the, going through the autopsy procedure. Now, questions about how he passed when he was doing so well in the hospital and people were able to see him. He was alert, he was answering people, things of that nature. And then there was a situation that transpired that, people thought like if he just lived, it'd be all right. Tupac lost a finger. His finger got shot off. Bullets do damage when they hit you. Damage. It's not like the movie. He lost a finger behind that shooting. You know, and when he passed is when they had to hook up. His organs was failing, so they hooked up a dialysis machine, and the dialysis machine would hook up to him, and he would just go into cardiac arrest where his heart would stop, and then they revive his heart back. They take the dialysis. They have to take his dialysis machine off to revive his heart. And every time they revive his heart, and he's back, you know, breathing again. I mean, back living. Then they hook up the dialysis machine, and then his heart would stop again. And they did it quite a few times. And then they told the mom what was happening, and it was her decision to just stop, just let him go. So that's what happened. No sensationalism involved. Okay. Now, everything else, that's just the mystery of it. But the biggest, so we were able to get through all of the story, the speculation, all the other crap that they fill your head with. You're able to navigate through these things. But then there's something that bump your head, and it's always something you can't explain. And they said, well, Tupac fired the lawyer, David Kenner. So it should have took him out because of that. I'm like, he fired David Kenner because he was upset he didn't have a list of accounts. He wanted to know what he owes. He wants to know how much money he actually has. He doesn't want to get gifts and cars. He wants a list of his accounts. David Kenner wasn't providing that for him, so he fired David Kenner. He was upset with the lawyer, David Kenner, for not providing him the list of accounts. Was he upset at times and talking about leaving? Yeah, beforehand, before Suge came to him and brought him something that he wanted, that he was asking for and wanted to get. He's like, why go somewhere else to get it? I'll just give it to you myself. You can have your own label and Machiavelli Records. I distribute it, and there it is. The thing that stood out to me the most, that was the bizarrest thing, and I never heard any more details about it. And it's the weirdest thing I've ever ran into dealing with this case is Tupac and Death Row Records had a life insurance policy out on Tupac, a massive life insurance policy on Tupac Shakur's life. I heard they had it on all their artists, a lot of their artists, but Tupac had a massive, life insurance policy that the record company got on him as an artist. And when he died, they never collected on the life insurance policy. That's the only thing in this whole story that is the most bizarre to me. How do you not collect on that life insurance policy? Now, if they did, it's far beyond my knowledge, but you guys like to talk to, because I think he got a web page here. You guys ask Reggie, because you guys love to go talk to him. I don't really deal with him, but maybe he know about it. So My list of knowledge stops there. That there was a huge life insurance policy put out on Tupac Shakur by the record label. Not just him, but it was other artists there that had life insurance policies put out on them. Never collected, and I don't know why. So on that note, I'll leave it right there.